Actually are. And wow, look at that. Oh my, this is the after, guys. Like, what? Yeah. Good evening, boys and girls. Probably just boys. I doubt there'll be any girls watching this video. But today we're going to be reacting to the most popular posts of all time on the Tressless subreddit. If you don't know what Tressless is, it's literally like the most popular hair loss Reddit sub-community for guys going bald. So yeah, we're literally going to go and take a look at the most popular posts of all time. I didn't realize you can literally filter the most popular posts that people have ever posted. So yeah, just a super chilled video today, guys. Nothing super educational. I'm literally going to load up these posts and react to it in live time. And yeah, give you guys my input. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, first post. Guys who use expensive shampoos, conditioners, and lotions, live in a nice apartment, and eat healthy salads. And we've got a guy who is like pretty cooked on the hairline front. And we've got a homeless guy who is looking pretty picturesque and suave. So yeah, I always say with this, guys, when it comes to male pattern baldness, you could literally be the healthiest guy ever. You could live a perfect life, tick every box, but at the end of the day, it literally doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter, because if you have the genetics to go bald, if your hair follicles are sensitive to DHT, then at the end of the day, you are going to go bald unless you take the precautionary measures to combat this. The ways to do this would be by getting on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor like finasteride or dutasteride, and then also adding in things like Minoxidil and any other supplementary treatments. But the most important thing is being on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor if you want to keep your hair long term. But yeah, well, this is literally the most popular post of all time on Tressless. Next one, we've got another meme. Hair follicles on my head versus hair follicles on my ass. So we've got like a monkey that's dying. You can see it yourself. It's on the screen. Anyway, next post. Into the case studies. So 2,500 to 3,000 grafts, 6 months post-op, and taking 1 milligram finasteride daily and 5% topical minoxidil. Okay, so in the first picture we can see, yeah, he's pretty far gone. I'm going to say that's around a Norwood 5. Although the hair on the back and sides is looking pretty thick, to be honest. It's just obviously the top area which is most sensitive to DHT, and obviously goes first when you have the male pattern baldness genetics. And then in the second picture, yeah, wow, that's a big transformation. His hairline is back. Obviously that is what you would expect with a transplant, because they are literally doing surgery to bring it back. It's not like you're literally just relying on medical treatments for it. But yeah, this is a really good result. So there's a comment below it. He says, I've posted before, but I wanted to show better pictures as my last post wasn't really portraying how bad it really was. The procedure cost was around 13K. That's quite a expensive hair transplant. These days you can get them for around, and this is in dollars, but you can get them for around 4,000. I'd say it's a good hair transplant sort of figure. But again, you could have a bad hair transplant for that price. So at the end of the day, you need to do your research when you're getting a hair transplant, because, you know, it all comes down to the clinic, the surgeon, the team. But this is a pretty good one at the end of the day. And it was done at the Bosley Center in Atlanta. So he had it done. I'm assuming he's American and stayed in the country. Yeah, he wanted to travel, but for personal reasons kept him from doing this. His results are maybe a little better than most people. For 2,500 to 3,000 grafts, the surgeon told him that his donor area was almost one of the best he's ever seen. See, I said that a minute ago. The back and sides were looking, yeah, super thick. And when it comes to the donor area, guys, when you're getting a hair transplant, it's not just a case of how many hairs you have on the back of the head. So every hair follicle can have anywhere from 1 to beyond 4 hair follicles. And when the hair transplant surgeon / team technicians are extracting the grafts, they can actually cut up the individual grafts and then use those for multiple different hairs. And it might be the case that this guy literally had tons of hairs on the back of his head with multiple hairs in one follicle. and that is what's given him such a great result. But back to the post, combined with finasteride and minoxidil, this is where he is currently. He personally thinks finasteride has done more for him than minoxidil. Yeah, I mean, it's a great result. You gotta be pretty happy with that. I mean, finasteride is always going to do more for you in the long run than minoxidil. Minoxidil will grow hair if you're someone that responds well to it and has good sulfotransferase activity on their scalp. Obviously, this is a real limiting factor because some people don't have enough sulfotransferase activity, and when you're just applying minoxidil to the scalp and it doesn't have this level of sulfotransferase activity, it's not going to convert into the active form of minoxidil, which is minoxidil sulfate. This is a different case if you're using oral minoxidil. When you're using oral minoxidil, you're literally taking a pill. The pill goes straight to your liver, and when it's going directly to the liver has a lot of sulfotransferase activity, so it's not so big of an issue. But yeah, big tangent there, guys. Next post. Okay, 3 months. Okay, 3 months of consistent minoxidil. So this guy has a pretty receded hairline. He's starting to get that kind of island shape. And then, okay, wow, that's a big trans. I think I've reacted to this guy before on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, it seems familiar, but wow, that is a massive improvement. You can literally see how far down the hairline has come, and you can see all the little baby hairs coming in as well. And this is just from minoxidil by the looks of it. Let me read the description underneath the post. 3 months of consistent minoxidil will add in derma rolling when results start to slow. Prescribing doctor was shocked at the response. So this guy has literally not even used a DHT blocking medication. He has literally just relied on minoxidil, and this is his 3-month results. So obviously this guy is a hyper responder to minoxidil. Guys, the likelihood of this happening to you is pretty slim. This is probably like a 1 in 10,000, if not more, case. This is it's pretty incredible, but it can happen. But yeah, guys, not much else to say on that other than if you're relying solely on minoxidil as your only treatment in your hair loss prevention protocol, unfortunately, it is not going to last in the long run. Your genetics will catch up, and you will need to be on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor because the hair follicles will keep thinning, and unfortunately, we don't really have an alternative to this right now. Anyway, next post. This is Brad Pitt at 59 years old. Okay, so we've got a Brad Pitt deep into his middle age era of his life with a Norwood 1 hairline looking like Brad Pitt. So this is something I've talked about before actually. When it comes to guys in Hollywood, in the limelight, and really in the public interest, it really makes me think, they have managers and things like this. So what would be the likelihood that their manager knows about hair loss affecting their career and somewhere early on down the line suggested they got on a medication like finasteride or dutasteride? Personally, I think it's pretty likely, to be honest. I mean, if we pull up a picture of Brad Pitt's brother, Doug Pitt, you can see that his hairline is slightly more recessed than Brad's. So perhaps Brad literally got on finasteride way, way, way back in the start of his career because, when you start blocking 5-alpha reductase, inhibiting it in your system at a very early stage, then it's kind of hard for you to lose significant ground with your hair. So the likelihood is maybe he did hop on some sort of 5-alpha reductase inhibitor and has been on it this whole time. It also might be the case that he just has amazing genetics. I mean, if you look at him, you can tell he has pretty solid genetics that I think most guys would be happy with. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, if you think this is a viable theory that this actually happens in the likes of Hollywood and people in the public interest. Okay, next post, we've got progress picture so far a little over a year, 23-year-old male. Okay, so we got a guy who's in the... I've actually seen this one, and I've watched a podcast with Kyle, KWRX, on YouTube, guys. You should definitely go and check him out. He makes amazing hair loss content, really informative, educational, science-packed content, so go and check him out. But he did a podcast with this guy. I can't remember his name, but I know the end result, and it's pretty phenomenal. to be honest. So we can see here he has got, yeah, I mean, his hairline is pretty much gone at this point. He's got pretty severe diffuse thinning all the way through the top of the scalp. Next picture, let me pull up the comments on this one, or the description at the same time. So it's not perfect, it doesn't grow perfectly even. Some hairs still fall out a little easier than they probably do than most people, more than most people. I have a little bit of anxiety about my hair, but anything is better than that, man. You can probably tell I've used Minoxidil on my beard as well, and the contrast between these two time frames is absurd. And I know it is absurd because I've seen it. I've lurked a lot on this subreddit to give me hope and for more information. But back to the post, sorry for that massive tangent once again. I've lurked on this subreddit to give me hope and for more information. So thank you anyone on here who gives help and feedback to others. Like I said, I hope you guys all have a good recovery, because thinning or balding, especially at a young age, is not something I wish upon anyone. And yeah, it sucks. But let's see his next picture. So let's see. So this is a pretty big recovery already. Obviously, you can see tons of hair coming back on the mid scalp, and I'm guessing the hairline, the crown is still looking thin, but still a pretty massive improvement, to be honest. And then this is, I'm guessing this is the before also. I mean, yeah, you can see how far back his hairline is. It's pretty much not there. Next picture, yeah. Bear in mind this guy is 23 years old, so he's a year younger than me in this photo. It's not me like throwing shade at this guy, but he, you know, objectively he doesn't look like a 23-year-old in this picture, and that is often what losing your hair can do, and what a lot of guys worry about, because when you do lose your hair, you know, it's something that is associated with getting older, and depending on your facial structure and other aspects of your aesthetics, it can make you look a lot older than you actually are. And wow, look at that! Oh my, this is the after, guys. Like, what? Looks like he's found a time machine and been hitting the bench every day. But yeah, clearly he's been taking care of himself a lot more. As he said, he's been putting the Minoxidil on his beard as well. That's looking a lot more fuller and less patchy. But yeah, huge transformation. I mean, like, amazing. Next post. Okay, if I can give you, I've got another meme. If you can give one advice to your younger self, then what would that be? What the heck? What is in my pocket? It's a sweet potato. The hell that's doing that? Anyway, back to the post. Girls with a time machine, I am your granddaughter. Really? Boys with a time machine, start taking finasteride now. What's that? Yeah, this is so true. Like, as I said before, the earlier you start taking finasteride, the more hair that you save initially. And it's one of the things, like, when you're not losing your hair as a man, you think, oh, you know, that's something that happens to guys, but it's not going to happen to me. Like, why would it happen to me? And then it happens. And it doesn't suddenly just, boom, you know, you suddenly go bald. It happens insidiously over a long period of time. And obviously that period can vary a lot depending on the person. It can be pretty aggressive and happen when you are in your early teens. It can happen as early as that. But yeah, guys don't know. A lot of guys don't know that these treatments exist before they start going bald. And if they had have started taking it right at the first signs of going bald, then most guys, when they start doing that, are able to preserve their hair for well, indefinitely in most cases. Me personally, I did start pretty early on. Like, my hair is a hell of a lot better. It's I mean, it thickened up massively. It was super thin when I did start, but I still think I'd noticed it at a pretty early stage. My hairline is something that I was pretty fortunate with. I managed to recover it pretty well, but it's still not perfect. Like, it's not a Norwood one, which, you know, most guys don't have the whole life. But if you do have a Norwood one hairline, like, looks pretty cool if you're a middle-aged guy or an old guy with a I can't talk, with a Norwood one. But yeah, get on it early, guys. The first signs of baldness, just Be proactive. That is the take-home message. Always the take-home message. Next post. Do a few more. Do 2 more of these guys, and then we'll call it a day. 1 year progress. This is a big post, so it may end up just being one. But 1 year progress with topical minoxidil and finasteride plus dermastamp. Okay, so I've actually not seen this post before. Day 1, we've got a guy who is, you know, pretty much bald right here at day 1. So I'm gonna read the description first because it's right in front of me. But before I swipe onto the next picture, finally hit the 1 year mark. Extremely happy with my results so far. My hair looks better than it did almost 10 years ago. I finally feel like my age. Here's my routine. Every morning I apply topical min. I take a biotin pill. Yeah, guys, in reality, you probably don't need to take a biotin pill. Like, the vast majority of people will not have a biotin deficiency if you live in the Western world. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a waste of your money. But ticking the box isn't going to hurt. Every night I apply topical minoxidil plus finasteride solution. So I'm guessing that is topical finasteride. Yeah. After a shower when my hair has dried. Once a week, I dermastamp at 1.5 millimeters. I do this at night after washing the scalp well. While showering, I have needles soaking in alcohol. Nice. That's a pretty good pre-stabbing head procedure. I do this. Then I apply minoxidil plus finasteride solution immediately after stamping. I use Ketoconazole shampoo 2 to 3 times a week. It's quite a lot. I actually only use Ketoconazole once a week because it's pretty drying on your hair. And like, I mean, the whole idea of, you know, doing a hair loss prevention protocol is to keep your hair. And when you're using Ketoconazole a lot, it dries it out and kind of makes the hair look a bit crap, to be honest. So I only use it once a week. But it's one of them things, like with Ketoconazole, you may as well include it in your routine because it's just a shampoo. Like, you just use it to wash your hair, keep it on your scalp for 7 to 10 minutes, and it can reduce DHT locally in the scalp. So it's kind of a no-brainer. But most of the brands that you get out there do tend to really dry out your scalp. I think there are some that are pretty bougie, like expensive ones that are better quality shampoos, but most people don't really want to spend that amount of money on a shampoo. But I was actually thinking, guys, like, what if I started my own Ketoconazole shampoo brand, like, and, you know, tried to make a decent shampoo out of it? Like, would you guys be interested in that? I mean, I have no idea how to go about doing that right now, but it does seem like the options out there for it are pretty slim. So if that's something you'd be interested in, then let me know in the comments, because I've thought about it quite a few times, honestly. Need to think of a name for it. Put that in the comments too. Anyway, back to the post. I scrub shampoo well into scalp and let sit for about 5 minutes, then wash out. Probably should leave it in there a little bit more than 5 minutes. And then wash out. A new thing I recently started using is a colouring shampoo to help hide some of the grey hair. I use this once a week. Guessing that's a bit of a spoiler alert if he's got some grey hairs to be worrying about. That's a nice problem. A little bit about myself. I'm 35 years old. I'm active. I go to the gym and have a job where I'm constantly on my feet. A tower climber. Dangerous job. I don't necessarily eat the healthiest. I'm 5 years sober from alcohol. I was a heavy alcoholic. Yeah, alcohol can actually make hair loss worse, guys. I'll make a separate video on that if you want me to, but avoid it as much as you can, because as nice as it is a poison, and doesn't really do you much good other than loosen the tongue and provide fun times and good memories. I feel like I'm selling it more than I'm deterring you from it. But anyway, I quit smoking cigarettes around that same time as well. Also bad for you. Can also make another video on it. Let me know in the comments. I noticed I was losing my hair in my early 20s, same as me. I went to a doctor about it at the time and was told there was nothing I could do. I started shaving my head around 30 and I hated it. I came across this sub and got me to do some researching. I jumped on the meds 1 year ago and couldn't be happier. Have any questions? Feel free to ask. Okay, so day 1, as I said, pretty much bald. 2, ooh. Now, when we look at this picture here, we can see that there is loads of little wispy baby hairs kicking about in these follicles. These follicles are not dead yet, which is a a good sign for this guy. Okay, 2 months, we can see he's starting to get that little island coming in right above the hairline, but there is some activity going on behind it. You can see things are starting to kick up a bit of a fuss. Next picture, 3 months in. Okay, wow, this is going to be a big transformation. Literally starting to see how much thicker this hair is becoming. Month number 4, it's looking good. 6 months, this is actually looking a bit thinner. You might have gone through a bit of a shed here. 1 year, yeah, that's a serious recovery. That's crazy considering what that was before. Let me pull up the picture of what it was beforehand. Like, wow. That's crazy. He again looks like he's gone back in time. Obviously it's not a perfect head of hair, guys, but you know, from that starting point, it's pretty phenomenal. And if this guy wanted to go and get a hair transplant, then you know, he could probably be looking at a head of hair that looks like it's had not a great deal of hair loss. Okay, last one. 3 weeks, only finasteride result. Is there any improvement? Huge improvement. He's gone from this guy to Jedward. If you're in the UK, you'll know who Jedward is. If not, then I'll throw up a picture. Clearly, this is a 100% authentic transformation, guys. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day there, guys. The video is getting pretty long now, but if you guys have any of your own transformations that you want me to react to, then please do send them to me. It's Tom_Gilbanks on Instagram or Tom.Gilbanks on TikTok. So just send me a DM and I would love to react to your own transformations. As always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on all my other social channels. Tons more educational hair loss content come in every single day. So, yeah, go follow. Bye-bye.